Your love is coming. Your love is here. Your love, your love, your love. Thank you for joining us in this initiation as we activate this great sacred power of love. As you're coming in, joining us, please say hello. What's your story? Share with us a little bit about your experience of love and what you're hoping to get out of this webinar in the comments below. We're here because of this aspect within ourselves that we've found to share love. But why? Why? This is actually probably one of the most powerful topics that can ever be brought up to the table, right? This is the very unifying quality that allows us to heal our sacred wound within ourselves. This is the very unifying power that allows us to have happiness within our relationships, right? This aspect, this knowledge, this knowing, this experiencing, this activating of love is what's actually going to allow you to bring wealth and abundance into your life, as we're going to be seeing of how we use this quality of love, how love uses us to fulfill its deeds and wishes, and our relationship with love. So get set, get relaxed. Actually, maybe this is what I found. When there's problems in love, when there's constrictions, right? When we need to communicate more with ourselves, when we need to communicate more with our loved ones, right? Or with those that we would like to fall in love with our business, right? There's this quality of communication that sometimes we do not know where to begin or what to discuss. And in these moments, it is a blessing that we may realize this aspect of ceremony. And sometimes people do not know what to do. They reach for alcohol, drugs. When it is much better, you can light a candle. And actually, it is this sacred flame that represents the burning up of duality. And you can use a flame or a candle in your life symbolically just to light it and know that as that flame is burning, all negative energy and all disempowering beliefs are burning up as well. Incense as well allows us to touch our inner love more. And when we light incense, it is also, we are able to deepen our communication. So now, maybe you're feeling more comfortable. We are all able to listen to each other more, listen to ourselves more, and be able to be in tune with that intuition that allows us to say the right thing to ourselves and to our company. So without any more further to do, I want to bring out our co-host, who is really the leading factor behind this unleash of love. And I want you to have an experience of knowing that if you've experienced constrictions in your past, if that's a constriction in being able to activate your fullest power within yourself, if that's a constriction in not being able to be with an empowering partner who allows you to enter into that state of relationship bliss when just both parties are just acting in unison and you're feeling that extension of harmony. Maybe now is a time for you to listen to what Tabitha Jasper has to say and internalize these words that she's going to bring out for you, and know that this subtle change, these shifts in energy that are beginning to occur, whether you're conscious of it or unconscious, are going to enable you to have greater happiness in both your life and business. So direct your ears, your eyes, your focus onto this next host, because what she has to say will change you. Tabitha Jasper, are you there? Will you
Yes.
speak to us all?
Gladly. Thank you, James, for that introduction. I really appreciate you. That was beautiful. So first thing I want to point out is the lighting of the candle and the incense. Did any of you light your own candle? Did you light your own incense? Did you take any specific practices to fully relax yourself so that you can be present in this moment? I apologize on behalf of James and myself for being late tonight. We had our first technical difficulty, didn't we? And so we decided we needed to light a candle and incense. This is something, we were doing a quick meditative prayer right before we came in, and I pointed out the technical stuff, and I went, you know what? The reason why we do this is because of this love acronym that I created. Get out a piece of paper, get out a pen if you like, get out a crayon, whatever works. Here it is. Live on vibrational ecstasy. Live on vibrational ecstasy. So my hope tonight is to share with you how you can do that in your life. How can you live on vibrational ecstasy? So, okay. One of the things I'd like to do is bring you back to a time in my life that wasn't so pretty. For those of you who know me personally or have been following my story for a while, you likely already know this. But for those of you who don't, something that you should know is I am a mother of twins, and they are 10 now. Actually, when I was 19 years old, I found out that I was pregnant. And if you can only just imagine the dread of having to tell my mother. So that sort of launched a series of steps, one of which was marriage. And by the time I was 20, I was married with 2 babies. Yeah. Now, my husband at the time and I, we were very young and very immature and not quite ready for that yet. So, long story short, he decided it would be time to move on, and that's okay. At the time it was very challenging, and I did not see the silver lining just yet. But that's where my love journey started. It started with him, with babies, with early marriage, and then again an early divorce 1 year later. So it took me about 4 years to really hop back in the saddle, if you want to say it that way. I didn't quite know what I was looking for. I didn't understand love very well as a child. I had different men and women in my life and different experiences. One being my grandfather. Since from the age of 5 till about 11 years old, he touched me growing up, and he was very scary. He was drunk. And he would climb into my bed at night for about 6 years as I was growing up. And I did not tell a soul, not for a really, really long time. Not until I was an adult, about 25 years old, in fact. So that was something that I went through by myself for a very long time. It took until I had my words, which weren't well selected, of course. You can imagine all the arguments, my mom yelling at me as I'm swearing at my grandfather to leave the kitchen because I couldn't stand being in the same room as him. She did not understand, but that's okay. I don't blame her. And that's the thing, not to assign blame, but to seek to understand. You see, I didn't know that my grandfather was going through mental challenges at the time, schizophrenia. In fact, he is still with us, but he lives in an institution. You know, he can't think for himself, and he can't control himself. That's not an excuse, but that's where my journey of love started. So I did not have the best example of what love looked like. So as you can imagine, at about the age of 24, when I started getting into relationships again, they were all tornado-like relationships, all just very toxic, very messy, not pretty, right? So as you can imagine, it took me a long time before I started to realize that the real issue here was me. The real issue was me, okay? So you can say it was the grandfather. You can say that it was my father wasn't really around for a long time. You can say that it was a number of relationships gone bad. But you can also look at the truth and see that I'm still responsible for me, especially as an adult woman. So I started to ask that question, what is love? What is it? I had no real good example of that for a very long time. So I stopped getting into relationships at one point. I believe it was 2014. And I decided, you know what I need to do? I need to take a step back. I need to stop dating. And so actively what I started to do is, for example, if you can imagine sitting at a park bench and you sit there and you observe. And that's what I did. I sat and I just watched how other people communicated with each other, how they touched one another. The man would kiss his woman on the neck, and hold her by the hand, open the doors for her, and she would receive that in a really beautiful and graceful manner. Not always, but those are the observations I took in the most. And my mother, she's remarried. She has a wonderful husband, wonderful, beautiful love life with my stepfather. And I would watch them, and they cuddle on the couch, and they kiss in the room, and they go on dates. They make special time for each other, and I started to realize, okay, this is how I want to communicate in love. This is what I want. So then I took the next step, which was educating myself. Reading books on psychology, on relationships, astrology. The works, scientific study, romance novels, you name it, I read it. Actually, one of my favorite books is, pardon me, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a Toltec Wisdom, and it comes alongside of the Four Agreements. So if you can find that reference on Google, definitely read that series of books. They made a huge difference in my life. And finally, what I realized, though, no amount of observation, no amount of education could prepare me for what it was I divinely wanted. The thing that I knew I wanted most could not exist without looking inward. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm ready. I need to face myself. How have I been reacting in the past? Have I been reacting with love, or have I been reacting with fear? And I looked at my past behaviors, and I did not like what I saw. So I took the observations, and I took the study, and I turned it into application, working on myself. So one of the things I want to ask you is, have you reached that stage in your life just yet? Think of your parents, think of your grandparents, think of your friends, think of your coworkers, think of your neighbors, think of the people in your town or your city, and go back to one or two couples that you would aspire to become yourself. That's the observation. I'd like you to start there and write that down, if you will. Number 1, observation. Number 2, educate yourself as best you can. And again, that's with books, movies, you name it, you can do it. And thirdly, apply everything you've just learned, because knowledge is not what is is not what is power. That's only half of it. Applied knowledge is power. That's what it is. So, what good is all that information if you're not applying it into you in your life? So here's what I did. I literally looked at my life and I went, okay, I've got two choices now. I came to a crossroads and I looked at it and I went, okay, I can go left. I can continue down this road. I can continue to allow my relationships to be messy and to blame my grandfather, my father, the fact that my brother and I argued too much. Oh, God forbid two siblings argued, right? Or I can go to the right and I can change and I can make, making a choice with intent is what I'm trying to say here, to utilize what I have learned and do something different. And that can be very scary because you're jumping outside of your comfort zone, right? You've been in this box for so long and experiencing love in a way that you understood, right? But if you imagine you're in this box, okay? Imagine you're like in this tiny little box and you got your head down and your shoulders shrugged up, okay? And you're in this box and it's dark but it's warm and you're good. Okay, this is my box. Yeah. And you hear voices out there, right? Those are the voices of the people who are laughing and enjoying themselves and doing the thing that you want to do, you think maybe, but you have no idea what it looks like, right? So you're happy in your box. But then you hear them so much and the noise just gets louder and louder and it gets to the point where you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna peek at it. I'm just gonna go ahead and peek. So you like open up the top of your box a little bit and you take a little peek outside and you look around and it's bright. You're like, oh my goodness, it's really kind of nice out there. So then you get really brave, you pop the top of that box off and you poke your head out. You look around, you're like, ooh, I can breathe. Ooh, smell that fresh air. Oh, that's nice fresh air. I like that fresh air, So then you're like, okay, well, it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to, I'll stand up. So you stand up, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. A little wobbly on my feet, that's fine. You've been scrunched up in that box for so long, right? It's okay. So then you get up on your feet and you find your balance and then you decide to take the really brave step. You step 1 foot out and you realize the ground beneath your feet is firm. It's steady. Oh, and it's grass. That's kind of nice. You realize this is the first time you've ever felt grass beneath your toes before. You've never felt that sensation and you love it. And then you look beyond and you see humans over there by a pond fishing. And you wonder what it would be like just to go for a walk and introduce yourself. And so you take the other foot and you step down on the ground. And you know what? This is so true to life because you have to learn how to walk before you run. And you have to learn how to crawl before you walk. And we all know that if you watch babies, you got to learn how to roll over before you even start crawling, right? So it's okay that it takes you time, maybe hours, days, weeks to make it over to that group of humans who are fishing for love in their pond, right? But that's the way that life is. And if you take small steps when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone to observe and then educate and then apply, that's where your success is going to be. Okay, so the next thing that I really would like to cover is your love mastery. See, there are 3 concepts of love that I would like to share with you tonight. So you've got your pen, you've got your paper, you've got your crayon, you've got your paint, whatever you have there, get it out. Love concept number 1, self-love. What does self-love look like to you? Is it taking a bath, lighting a candle, lighting incense, going for a run, going to the gym, dance, singing, acting, eating fruit? What is it? What is self-love for you? Is it getting yourself a pedicure, or buying yourself a massage, or taking yourself out on a holiday? And are you applying enough self-love in your life, right? If you're nodding your head, good. But if you're not nodding your head, then write down, okay, my homework. 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 10, 1 to 100. I don't care how many ways for you to apply self-love to you in your life. This is to you only, okay? And if you're not used to this, that's okay if you only write one thing down. But if you wrote one thing down, then that's good. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. And that is the first step to finding love in your life. It starts with you, right? Like I said, me. It was me, right? Same goes for you. Yeah. So then we have love concept number 2, love of another. Like I described that elderly couple. The man holding the door open for the lady, and her saying, thank you. There are 2 types of people in the world, and I describe this as C people versus circle people. See, C people walk around saying all the time, I'm only half of one person, right? They only believe they're half of one person, and they're not whole until they meet another person to make them whole, right? However, when they're not around, they feel deprivation. They almost suffer, right? They don't know how to manage themselves. They don't know how to get by. And the breakup is that much more ugly, okay? People spend years getting over these breakups, whereas circle people can get over it in a day. What circle people do is they grow into a whole person before getting into a relationship. And when they do get into one, it's beautiful. Because C people need each other for energy, right? So they're constantly combating for that. Have you ever had that relationship where you're fighting with your individual because they're not giving you enough, and you just want to point that out, and it's so annoying, they said this, that one time 10 years ago they did that, just sucking energy out of each other. It's a back and forth thing, right? Because you need their energy in order for you to be on top, right? In order for you to have control. However, circle people don't do this. They give back to each other constantly. And what it is 2 circles, they come together and they create a figure 8, constant flow of energy. So those are the individuals who are opening the door for each other, making the sandwich for each other, saying, thank you, I appreciate you. You're so wonderful because that thing that you just did, thank you. They let go and not bring up old ghosts from past challenges, right? So ask yourself, am I a C person or am I a circle person? And if you are a C person, that's okay because you realized it. Now your job is observe, educate, and apply, right? Circle people can do this too. Now, if you are already a circle person, you're ready for love concept number 2, which is loving another, right? You're ready to step in and have a healthy relationship with somebody else. And that's beautiful. Take a deep breath, because love concept number 3 is about word love. Now, why is this the most important one? I can't express enough how important word love is. Words have substance. They do. And when you say something, for example, there's an old story about a mother with her child in the back seat. And the mother is driving, she's got a headache, and she's irritable. And her child is in her own world singing because she's happy. And she's looking out the window and she's singing away. And her mom finally shouts and says, stop making that awful noise. Stop making that awful noise. How did that child perceive that? Her singing is an awful noise. Now, the mother did not realize what she had just done, but she had used the word, in a negative way, and the child absorbed it in a negative way. and it forever changed her. That child never sang again because she forever believed that her singing was just loud noise. And the mother never understood. Why did my child stop singing? She never thought back to that moment because it was just a moment to her, but it was a big moment to the daughter. So as you can see, the word is very powerful. If you tell yourself you're stupid, if you tell yourself you're fat, if you tell yourself you're ugly, if you tell yourself you're not worthy, your mind believes it. And if your mind believes it, your heart feels it. Your heart can feel that. And if you're speaking to another individual, their mind believes it and their heart believes it too. And the way that you or they apply themselves in their lives is a true reflection of that word. So ask yourself, what do you normally say in your day? Do you say that you're worthy of love? Do you? Because if you don't, I'm here to tell you that you absolutely are. You are worthy of love. I don't know who you are. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who's listening. But I love you. And I know that you are worthy of that love. I know that. Because we are all here. We are all a reflection of the universal God energy, if you were, right? You'll use whatever works best for you, but that's what it is. I am you and you are me. You are a whole individual, and anything that you're focusing on right now that makes you say, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not, I did this thing or whatever it is, delete it from your mind. Okay? Delete it from your mind. Shove it aside and shout at it even, like shove it back in a box, like screw you, that thing that's driving me crazy and that's holding me back. Deletion. Okay, done. Delete it. You are worthy of love. You just are. And it's up to you to get past whatever it is that's holding you back, right? Yeah. So I'm going to take a minute here to give you back to my friend James. But before I do, go back to that acronym. Do you remember it? The LOVE acronym? Live on vibrational ecstasy. And I've just given you ammunition on exactly how you can do exactly that. Thank you very much. James, are you there?
Yeah, hey, I just want to say on behalf of everyone who's listening right now, thank you. I think that what it was that you just shared with us was an accurate demonstration of the embodiment of love. And if everyone here was taking notes, they can clearly see how they can transform themselves and be in this embodiment of this greater love, this ecstasy that you speak of. Notice some things that Tabitha Jasper did. What allowed us to fall in love as we were listening to her speak? Maybe some of you didn't notice that you did fall in love when you were listening to her speak. Maybe some of you are just realizing that now, like, oh, I am feeling a little bit more in love right now, I mean, maybe it's for yourself. Maybe it's for someone special. Maybe it's just, what I'm talking about. This is the process of keithing. Keithing is a term where it involves the revealing of your true self to another, right? And Tabitha shared with us that story about her experiences of love. However, challenging that was for her in her youth, and that opening up allowed love to come in. And it's this process of opening up, of keithing and revealing ourselves more and more that allows love in. And we can notice this constriction that first happens, that is restricting love from us in our own breath, in our breathing. And we pick up these habits sometimes from our parents, about how we breathe and how we carry ourselves. And truly, when we just take that deep breath and allow ourselves, to truly breathe and appreciate that breath, that is the beginning that allows you to let more and more love in. And as we breathe, and maybe you started paying attention to your breathing more now, you can notice that, with this ease of breathing, that we can listen more and express ourselves more. And mastering all of these different experiences of love that we can have. So people say that I'm 12 times more sensual than the average person. I think that's because I can relate myself in 12 different ways to, and you're going to be able to learn more about how you can become more aware of your sensuality as you become listening, as you become more of a listener, and more open to accepting love from others. So my story is that my love life has been greatly connected with money, and this relationship was very stunning to me to realize, because I actually grew up with a lot of money. I grew up with managing stocks and investments and trust funds. And when I was 18, I had a large amount of money to manage. And I basically played this game and managed this inherited wealth that I had. For years. It took me all the way through university. It allowed me to stay in nice apartments. I ended up living on 36 acres of wildlife redwood forest. We had 6 gardens that we could run naked through. We had our own spring that gave us our own water. We have enough solar powers to sell energy back to the grid. And I was in a deep state of love here, living in this place. And there came moments in my life when I felt as if okay, this changed, right? How did it occur? What happened? So there came a climax when essentially my business wasn't performing. I started doing network marketing when I was like 19 or 20. I started making money selling business, and but I wasn't in charge of the products. And when customers demanded products that I couldn't provide to a quality that I couldn't deliver, that income stream that I had, that I took all of the money out of my investments and put in, collapsed. And this was detriment to my love life, because this meant that I couldn't afford to to look after my beloved, right? And there were instances when we believed that love was undying, right? Unconditional love is what I was kind of raised with, the idea. And I did not know that, yes, actually, to make relationships work, there is actually very much levels of conditions that I had to understand. One such was being able to make your related party feel safe, right? Which is something I was always able to do. Let me take you back to like 2000. I think really it was between 2006 and 2011, where my network marketing business was really going off, and we would have retreats back on my property, and we were able to really serve people in a way that mattered and was empowering for people. I was taking a lot of this income and putting it into film and digital media. and I was going into town and teaching interns there how to use digital media to make money on the internet. I started my own entrepreneurial career, going door to door to businesses with a camera and boom mic to assist people to make videos and learn about internet strategies. I've been doing this since 2011, right? And this is when a certain disaster kind of happened in the situation where the business broke, the film industry tanked, right? The producer who I was working with, his wife had terminal cancer, and he couldn't go on carrying the business, knowing that his loved one was sick, right? And I remember looking at my beloved, who I was doing everything for to keep together, and her staring me back in the eyes and saying, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Will you do everything in your power to allow us to be able to be together again? And that was the last time I saw her. That was when I had to leave the house, and I remember it was raining. I was just like on the street. We had a it was a dirt road that came into our house, and I remember it was just muddy, and I was just laying there, and I was thinking, like, how on earth can I possibly transform, right? How can I nourish my relationship so that I can understand, right? I needed to choose what's correct for me. Faith and guidance from my higher self, and I needed to understand self-love and self-worth, and how to overcome problems and needs, right? The situations that people that you attract in your life, and how they reflect your internal relationships with your heart, your mind, practicality, spirit. And it was as if, this is kind of weird, but I had this vision of transforming into a turtle, right? And it was like the archangel Raphael came down and reminded me that I am love. I am loving. And we can heal our body, our mind, our spirit. And we can heal this relationship with our beloved. We may be known by our spiritual heart. And we may choose that which is balanced and healthy, and be open to the intimate relationship between yourself and God. I actually ended up becoming a recluse, and I lived in the mountains of Santa Cruz for about a year or so, really in just a state of meditation. And it wasn't until that I got this grant and ended up in the Maharishi University of Management that I started learning how to integrate. I became celibate. For after a life of numerous vast amounts of relationships. There's times when I had 3, 4, 5 lovers at the same time. You have to understand, I kind of lived on like a hippie commune, right? We had like 36 acres, and it was very unintentional, but yet there was so much love there, and we really tried and learned. We started learning and practicing these disciplines and these strategies by these community developers, these philosophers such as Charles Fourier, which is a French philosopher, and gave us many ideas about how relationships work. And one of the things that he taught us that we were able to learn and begin to practice was this idea. He was right around the same time as Isaac Newton, that people are like atoms, right? And when we come together, we're all like we create atoms. We're all like neutrons and electrons, and we actually create different elements when we are present with each other in the same room, working together in a habitat. And what we actually started beginning to develop was a scientific process for actually bringing people together and learning about relationships and how you can actually work with people in the best way. We use astrology, tarot, and astrogenetics to be able to do this. And what I was able to discover, and I actually lived with the son for one of the North American leading companies in this science, bringing forth astrogenetics, and I was able to greatly develop a lot of information in this field, so that we can use complex algorithms to instantly be able to allow people to understand how they can relate with another person in the best way, right? This is actually kind of the stuff we teach in our courses. You can go ahead and take the Total Shortcut and check that out and learn more about these complex algorithms that we do and use to instantly align ourselves with our higher selves and be able to give ourselves our best in our relationships. That's our personal life or our business relationships. So, Tabitha, tell me where I'm at. I have a meditation to share with you that I can actually allow two things to happen. One is we want to heal disempowering beliefs. And two is we want new empowerment. So I actually want to give it back to Tabitha, and because I want to know like more about your story and where you're at and what you need from me, and if I can do anything more for you, because I'm so appreciative of what you've been saying. I don't know if you have any more like golden nuggets. Like, is there a girl power? Do you have a secret you want to like share?
What I really appreciate is the clear differences between James and myself. We are two sides of the same coin all at the same time, though, right? Now, there are multiple different types of people with different types of love experiences, and you don't have to have a single experience in order to achieve love in your life. You don't have to be one type of person to achieve love in your life. And I think that what's really unique about tonight is you got to see two totally different types of people with two totally different types of upbringings and life experiences with love, and yet have arrived at the same place. That's beautiful, and that means something for all the different types of people in the world. And he's right in that, if you're ready and willing to take on yourselves and start applying these skills that we shared a little bit tonight, there should be a button below, I believe, for that total shortcut that James was just talking about. Why love? Why the total shortcut? Raising your vibration. What happens when you raise your vibration, right? So what is vibration? If you can imagine a radio, okay, in your house, and you've got a dial on that radio, okay, and you're able to switch the dial from FM to AM and station to station, right? And when that happens, you've got different frequencies that you're tapping into. Now, in life, what happens is if you're unhappy, if you're depressed, if you're sick, if you're stressed out, and if you're using the word negatively, okay, not applying self-love and care, what can happen is you actually live in a low vibrational state, okay? You surround yourself with people who are unhappy. You surround yourself with people who don't serve you, and you live in that lower vibrational state, right? So what our attempt is to help as many people with the total shortcut to get up up into that higher vibrational state by turning that dial and knowing exactly how to tune yourself in, right? So why would you want to do that? Well, when you live in that higher vibrational state, you live a healthier lifestyle. You live a healthier lifestyle mentally as well as emotionally. And tonight we're talking about love. What a better way to look at this thing than from your rose-colored glasses, right? So if you're living a healthier lifestyle because of this higher vibration, if you're living a healthier lifestyle, you are going to be focusing on healthier things. You're going to be noticing, instead of infomercials on, how to catch your spouse cheating, those stupid shows. Excuse my language. But you will notice things like, okay, 10 great ways for you to live healthy, 10 great recipes for vegetarians, 10 great ways to receive the freshest water. You'll start living a healthier mental lifestyle as well as a physical one, as well as emotional and spiritual. Now, what does this do essentially? This gives you a better quality of life. And that's the point, isn't it? I bet you anything that when you were born, your parents didn't sit there thinking, gosh, I hope that Freddie has a silly, stupid, crappy life. I was almost saying a swear word there. I bet you anything they were looking at you going, I hope that you have the best experiences that any one human can have, and increasing your quality of life through the total shortcut, raising your vibration, living a healthier lifestyle will increase your quality of life. So that one day when you're on your deathbed, for example, or you're up in the heavens or whatever it might be, and you're looking back on your life, here's something I want you to do. I want you to sit there and actually imagine yourself on that deathbed. Close your eyes and see yourself up in the clouds, looking down upon earth, upon the life that you just left behind. Look back and ask yourself this question. Are you proud of the way that you lived your life? You lived that human life for X amount of time and touched so many different types of people. Are you proud of the way that you lived your life? Are you satisfied? Do you feel that you had the best quality of life? I don't know, living somewhere where you can run naked to the hot springs sounds pretty nice. That story that James was sharing about his upbringing. That sounds like a pretty nice quality of life, James. So here's the big question, are you ready to make love in your life invincible? Are you ready for that? And are you acceptant of the fact that you are, in fact, lovable? Say it out loud. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of love. Say it out loud. Shout it. I am worthy of love. Did you say it? Did you say it out loud? Good. If you didn't, don't worry about it. You're not ready yet. That's fine. But if you didn't, I'm going to say this to you because I love you. Okay? I have that love for you. Be yourself because that's okay. All right? It's okay. It's okay to be yourself. But leave room to grow. Leave a little bit of space. Empty your cup just a little bit. Make room for those applications. Make room for observation, education, and application. Make room for self-love and loving another really, really well. And make room to learn how to find the words that make such a big impact in your life. Words have substance. And if you can start there, in fact, I am worthy of love. Those are words, right? Already you feel better, don't you? Already you can feel your breathing. As James said, now that I'm speaking about breathing, you're completely aware of your breath. And you can do the same thing by speaking of your worth and love. You become aware of the fact that you are worthy of love. That's how powerful words are. So I'll see you on the other side of the total shortcut. And in the meantime, everybody, I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I wish you a world of peace, love, and awesomeness. Back to you, James.
Yeah, I have to tell you about what I learned. So there was this change and this transformation that took place, and how do we get back to that inner child that we had, that blissfulness, that knowing when we were young. Um, you see, because I believe that when we're young, when we're a child, um, we just live in that state of love. And remembering what were the coping mechanisms that you used when you were innocent, um, before life's corruption came and took over and made you use all of these other coping mechanisms. And yeah, I did experience a death, and I was transformed and renewed and reborn. And what it was that I learned uh, was really the deep uh, appreciation of acceptance, and what it is that you must accept. You have to understand what's acceptable in your life, and do you accept where you are in life? And be really clear with yourself on what is acceptable. And as you know what's acceptable, you're going to know this experience of love, right? Universal love, all of the love, right? And it's being really clear on what's acceptable. So imagine right now, as we're going through this experience of knowing what is absolutely acceptable about ourselves and how we're going to transform ourselves into this next new empowerment, let's make sure that there's no disempowering beliefs left whatsoever. And I just want you to just breathe into your solar plexus, just allow yourself to just relax and breathe and feel this like golden sun. It's like the sun is just vibrating as you breathe. Just the sun like comes into your solar plexus. It's this energy in your stomach here. That's how we deal with karma, and this energy is how we transform these emotional power issues. Is what allows us to enter a state of wholeness, right? That Tabitha was talking about earlier. This oneness, this wholeness. It's in dealing with this emotional, right? These power issues that splits us up in the solar plexus. As we breathe in this solar energy into our solar plexus, we become healed, right? We open up a space for that loving energy to happen. And now do the same thing with your crown, right? Imagine the sun coming into your crown as you breathe into it. And now it's like I was talking about, like the Archangel Raphael, right? It's actually like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that I believe in, but it's actually this energy. It's just like a frequency. If you just say like Raphael, it's actually that is like the code that allows the healing to take place. And as you're breathing in, allowing this light to come into your crown, your solar plexus, you can feel like this light coming down from your crown, and actually it heals you and it allows you to experience the wholeness. And any negative, disempowering beliefs that you've been thinking about, if these are beliefs, feelings, or habits, Raphael will just instantly take those away. And all of your disempowering beliefs are gone. You don't have to name them. Raphael will know what those are. And as we center ourselves for this new empowerment to take on into our lives, we can know that this feeling of divine keithing, of understanding that, we may allow ourselves to be open to accepting that this new energy field, that we create this signature in the magnetic field. So we're returning to the feeling of our heart, this true nature where miracles and love exists and allows this healing to happen. And this energy signature is magnetized and it's around us now. And therefore, we are going to attract the same towards us in this new empowered energetic field that we have within us. So ask for a final blessing and healing, and may it be fulfilled for you. May we spread a deeper experience of love across the earth. And know that as you do this, your alignment prepares you for an opening of chambers of your heart to spiritual powers, to creativity, and to conscious union with all that empowers you. Thank you. Thank you. And may you be blessed. May this white orb around you disappear, and feel your crown and solar plexus areas close. Return to normal breathing. Become aware of your surroundings. You can revisit this meditation, this practice, this session with Tabitha and I, whenever you want to make important decisions or choices that require discernment. Thank you. And know that this powerful feeling of love that you have in your life, that you can draw inside of yourself, can be greater activated when you use the Kalatu Cloud audience management networking system. When you take the total shortcut, yes, we'll be showing you how you can have massive amounts of audiences fall in love with you and continue to fall in love with buying from you over and over. Thank our sponsors. They're the ones that allow us to be here for you so we can continue giving us value. Please give us a shout out if you liked today's show, and get excited for next week's show. We will be talking about how you can create invincible awesomeness. So embrace all those constrictions in your life. Release acceptance and embody this true state of universal love. You are invincible, my friends.